Hello, so this is going to be my first video. I'm sort of nervous a little bit, even though I can delete this video at the end if I don't want to upload it. I'm also like to be my first video. I'm a bit worried I'm going to modulate my voice all over the place, but hey, we shall see how it comes out. So, what I thought I'd do was, I'm a programmer, programming a long time, but decided to get back into doing stuff at home. And the difference between work at home was I wanted work to be relaxing, easy to do. The projects are going to be, you know, 100th the size of the stuff I do at work. And I looked around and I sort of settled again on C and C++. So that's okay. So I thought I'd try and create an environment that was relaxing. Originally I was using VS Code, which is what you can see the .vs code in on the terminal there. But I decided that when I was trying to use it on a laptop, I found, you know, I was reaching for those little cursor keys. My hands are pretty big, so I didn't enjoy that. Excuse me. The moment I start videoing, get the frogs in my throat. So I thought, well, what can I do? Right, so I decided to go back to Vim. And with that, I thought I'd write a few shell scripts to get everything working well. So this video I thought I'd walk you through the shell scripts I've written, and I thought I would show you Vim, and that's pretty much it really. More like just to get me used to doing things. I also suddenly realised I'm clapping my hands over the mic, so let's see how this goes. Right, so the idea was I wanted a nice environment that worked well on my desktop, which is a dual screen setup, and on my laptop, which is a 15-inch aging XPS laptop from Dell. Both are running Linux, which is what you can see here, and that's pretty much it. So the first thing I wanted to do was automatic builds. That means when I save my file, alter any source file, instantly builds for me. I don't want to press anything, I just want it to build. So if we take a look at that, whoops, get the screen in the right place. So my auto build script, which is for my project. You'll see it's fairly simple. I've just got a directory that I observe, which happens to be my source file, which is this guy here. And then I just wait for any changes on it. And the moment I do that, and the moment I notice there's a change, we just call a build script. The build script is defined here, which is just make.sh, which, okay, that's the next part. The important thing is I set this up in a different terminal, which I'll drag into this window. I don't know if you can see that. Let's zoom in a little bit. Whoops. And there it is. Whoops. And there it is. So we can see that's all working well. Auto build there, and it's auto build. Okay, didn't have anything to build, so it took no time. I normally have this on my second screen, which I should drag it back to from now, and it means when I'm coding away, the moment I save a file, it I can't get it on the screen. Sorry. It builds it, which is well under a second. On my desktop it's, you know, 400 milliseconds usually, thereabouts, if I'm not streaming. It builds it and I can instantly see there's no extra key presses, there's nothing to do, it's just boom, and I'm good to go. I kind of really get used to it. The requirement is though that your code builds really quick. You don't want to be waiting 2 or 3 minutes for it to build and link and so on. So for small projects it works really well. If I was working on a million line project, maybe not. Anyway, let's take a look at the build script, which will be really unexciting, as you can imagine. Whoops. Make. Okay, that's a mistake. That should be removing invade, because I'm writing a little invaders game as a test thing. I see. So that removes my executable. I cd into the build directory. I clear the screen so I don't have to scroll. I can see what's been done this time. I time it because I'm interested in how long it takes, and I just call Ninja. Ninja is the fairly popular now make alternative, and that's it. So now let's see. Let's go back to that. Now the build directory, as you may or may not have guessed, that I'm using a build tool called Meson. It seems to be gaining some momentum in the open source world, and I kind of like it. I don't get on with CMake. Premake is pretty good, but Meson seems to make it easy for me. The one downside is I haven't got on with it well on Windows, so given I predominantly on Linux at home, I'm not that worried. If I come to do Windows builds, I probably would just write a shell script that just calls the Visual Studio compiler and it's good to go. I wouldn't be developing on it, so it's just a full rebuild every time. So let's take a quick look at the Meson file. So meson.build. There's not really much here to say. You define a project, which is this line. I tell it I'm going to use C and C++, and I let it know that I'm using the latest C++, which is C++ 17 or 1Z, and I use the latest C, which is C11. I kind of like C at the moment. Mostly because it builds really quick. There's sometimes some problems are better suited to having the OO sort of structure of C++, but that's it. So I flip between the two, and it's nice you can mix the two in a single project. It's possible I will gradually move more and more to C++. I code at C++ at work. That it's the easy one to do. I'm trying to keep it fairly minimal though. For instance, I'm not going to go heavy into template metaprogramming, just because I want to keep the compile times quick. The moment you start doing a lot of templatey stuff above and beyond a simple type substitution, things slow down. Even using standard vectors, I see it slow down by, my rebuild time slowed down by about 20 milliseconds for every single standard vector I create. Well, a new type, so standard vector my type. And it's a bit depressing to watch, to be honest. But having said that, if modules get in, my only resistance for a lot of these things is the compile speed. I have a dependency on STL2, which I'm using, and I'm using STL2. And finally, this is a bit that this bit here is what generates actual executable. So I don't know why I don't have an IR on the end, but it's called invaders. I'll make it Space Invaders clone, so I called it invade. The source is taken from the list here. It's very Python-esque. Meson's written in Python. Dependencies, as you'd expect. Turn off exceptions because I don't need them in this application, and I warn on everything in the CR because I think Meson defaults to warn all in your C++ anyway. And that's it. And -f time report actually gives you some pretty big some details on how long each file is taking to build. I've not really delved into it, but it's there to remind me that I can, just so I don't forget it. Right, that's that done. Now finally we're into actual editing. So I said I use Vim. I don't. I actually use mvim. I'm just trying it out. I don't think one's got much over the other. nvim first added the ability to do things in the background. Vim added it very rapidly afterwards. The competition's there now, so that's a good thing. So let's just here's my source files, ls source, and let's just load one up. So let's load up source/engine.cpp. No, actually, let's not load that one. Let's load source/main.cpp. So this is the. Hey, we don't need that. I should sort out my include what I use side of it. And well, let's undo that. Undo. And because then I can show you the auto build script kicking in. So let's put this on the side. Let's bring the auto build script back in. Now this is my setup when I have it on a laptop, because it's not a dual screen, but normally the desktop I don't have, I maximise my screen space for nvim. Right, let's delete this text file and tidy it up a bit, and then let's save it by writing I haven't automated that yet. Keep meaning to, that when I jump out of insert mode in Vim, I will save it, which would then trigger an automatic build. And write that, and you'll see on the side there that it will rebuild. And it took 250 milliseconds, which is pretty cool, and it's set itself up ready to build again. So there we go. So you can imagine I'm edit away, save, and I can instantly see. I do have a tool, let's find out what it's called. I have a tool called AIL, which works with NVim, which gives me a lot of highlighting warnings and error messages for C++, based on Clang, I believe. So if I do something like int I equals 10, and nothing happens, I plus equals hello, and you can see now I've got the little red and the two chevrons there saying something's gone wrong, and in the bottom telling me bad stuff is happening, invalid use of the LRA. And there we go. So, you know, I can instantly see that stuff's going on. Let's delete those off, write it, and you see the build. There we are. Now, probably the biggest improvement I can now gain, I've got fairly good build scripts, I've got everything sort of working smoothly. It's probably in improving my Vim experience. Getting code completion, Clang tidy maybe, Clang format, other sort of C++ tools which could be automatically run. I haven't done any tests yet, but if I did, I'd expect to build my test executable and run it automatically, much like I build the executable now. Done some changes, so the final thing that I can do, and again, normally I've got another shell open that I have on my left hand monitor. My right hand monitor I have NVim working and I'm editing away. On the left hand monitor I have half it taken up with a build script, which is currently on display at the moment, and then I have half it just with a shell there. I tend to use man quite a lot, particularly if I'm doing C, so I can look up the details of the various C functions, but I also can just quickly flip to it and then do commit. And that will commit my changes up into GitLab, is where I store things. I kind of excuse me, because it's a single person project, I don't really use Git in any sort of powerful way like we do. I just commit to it almost as a backup, and so I'm quite happy for commits to not contain much in the way of details in the sense of what I've been doing. It just doesn't come about. If we quickly look at, well, the final thing we can do is quickly look at the commit file, commit script, sorry, and here it is. So those familiar with Git, just says git add, and then also recursively just adds anything that's new into my script, ready to be committed. I then just commit it, which is this bit here, but I just commit it with a date tag, so the echo displays the date, xargs takes that date and puts it on the end of the git commit, so it becomes xargs git commit -m and then the string containing the date and time. All good to go, and then we just push it up. I just got fed up with typing all this stuff. Could have used Fugitive in Vim or some other tools, but really this was good enough. Like I said, it's really a backup tool for me. Perhaps it says, because that's all I need it for. And I think that pretty much covers it all. Like I say, I imagine that I'm going to try and push on with improving my NVim experience. Like I said, code completion would be nice, that sort of thing. Small projects, it stays in my memory, so it's not as bad as you think. I'm quite familiar with C++, so I don't need to, have the names of the methods on standard vector displayed up for me. I know the ones I use all the time, and the function names I'm pretty consistent within my code, so it's a nice to have. Surprisingly, that's where was I? that's sort of where it, a small project has the advantages that it does fit in your head. I couldn't work on a bigger project without code completion. I don't think. It'd be interesting to see. And I think that covers it all. So perhaps I'll do another video where I show the latest improvements or not. Hopefully I haven't spoken too fast. I've been told that particularly after a coffee I can speak very quickly, and I'm trying. Part of the desire to make a video is to slow myself down, explain things more clearly and all that, because I also suffer from very much the curse of knowledge. The moment I start talking to someone, I assume they know everything I know, and therefore I don't need to be as explicit as, or I think I don't need to be as explicit as I should be. Clearly everyone has a different subset of the total knowledge you can know, and that pretty much sums it up. Let's hopefully get this uploaded. I can actually feel my voice getting a little bit, or throat getting a little bit sore, which surprised me because I haven't actually spoken for that long. I think it's only a 15-minute video, so let's leave it at that and see how it goes. Thank you very much.